creepy episode of the O.U.C.H cast. What was that? Was that? What? Enrique, did you hear that? What is that? Is that George? Hello? Guys? Quit fooling around. What is that? Who are you? Wait. No! And following it up, Creepy October, here's the second episode. How's it going?
Second? I feel like I missed something.
Yeah, I definitely missed something.
Wait, is this the second October?
Is it?
I don't know.
I don't know. We never know.
Who
What
cares?
episode is this?
I have no idea. Doyle, welcome back.
Oh, I'm back.
We traded George to bring back Doyle because George wasn't working out.
Yeah, George never works out. That's why he looks that way.
Wait, remind me, which multi-dimension are we in right now? The one in which last week George was here, but Doyle wasn't, and then this week Doyle is here and I'm here. I get confused with these timelines. I've been watching The Flash, which is a great movie. I'm doubling down on my
You're in the
on
wrong.
my love for the movie. I've decided to completely disregard my issues with the CGI to say they're the best ever. And if I could do a Donald Trump impression, damn you, George, for not being here to do it for me.
Huge.
I would say,
Huge.
please tell me that the CGI are the best ever. They're huge. They're huge
think-
graphics, huge effects.
I think you're in the wrong multiverse, sir, because in this universe, Flash still sucks.
Did you see the baby in the microwave?
I thought that was a burrito. I thought they nailed it.
In that case, yes. But let's stop talking about the Flash. Doyle, how you feeling?
I am feeling much better.
Yeah.
It's actually a little hot in here today.
Right?
It is hot, dude. That's why I have the little rag, and I'm like,
Well, you're always on the
Fucking-
rag, bro. You came in on the
no,
rag.
I mean the little sweat rag that I'm like,
Oh,
fucking,
dude.
and then my liquid death
You
and
see,
shit.
let me tell the audience a little something about my boy here,
What's
Angel.
up? What's up? What's up?
Angel radiates the rag. He radiates it. Like
That's a burst.
His texts with OK are pulsating with rag juice.
Squid Squad, if you want to sync up and be on your rags together.
Squid Squad.
Let's sync up our rags.
It's gonna be one of those shows, isn't it?
Oh, I love
Yes.
you, dude. I love you, man.
We're
but
just clowning
I know
around.
you. I've known you too long.
I see what you did there.
segue.
yeah.
Segue.
Ooh,
Okay, you know what? You know what? Cheesy. Right there. It says right
What is
there.
it?
It says cheesy.
Cheesy. That is cheesy.
Yeah.
Cheesy.
That was the Gouda of the show, huh?
That was
Right
good.
now?
Can it get better?
No,
No.
it's not your show.
Okay, that one hit me slowly, but it was very good. I appreciate that. That was good.
And how you been, Enrique?
I've been good, man. You know, like I've been existing in these multiple dimensions. Somewhere I'm present and somewhere I'm not. But each one I'm always here in spirit and in heart. I just got done listening to the episodes from a few weeks ago. And I'm telling you guys, every time we walk away from the show and we have any doubts, my doubts are alleviated once I hear the show. Even like when we're yelling at each other, it's freaking entertaining stuff. Like I think we just got something really fun that people might want to listen to, even when we're like disagreeing on things, and it's fun. Like our Flash debates make me laugh, dude, because the movie is not that good, and in a normal world I will not defend it, but you just embolden my sauce, bro. It's
See,
good stuff.
Here's the thing, though. I own
you
it.
just said flash debates,
I-
and I was like,
Flash
"What are you
debates?
talking about?" And
The what the fudge?
yes, I that was something new to even me, and I was like, "I've been on this show. When have we had a flash debate?"
I flash debate all the time. I just, I think it's about like making sure that like somebody sees it. I don't know, right? We gotta just go quick.
That's not much of a load.
It's like, look at my dick.
Wow. It is a horror episode.
That's like
it's
bringing
Halloween.
back Pee Wee.
That's a very scary episode right there.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I had gone to the Ghost show at back in September, and I've been wanting to talk to you about it, Angel. Like, I know you don't like the band, but I'm so convinced that if I take you to a show, hold on. I'm gonna say this, and then you're the man. I'm so convinced that I take you to one show with me, and you will become the hugest fan of theirs, like everybody else. That's all I'm saying.
Here's the thing, though. I have no hate for Ghost.
I believe that.
I don't.
I believe it.
I just have an indifference.
I believe that
to
too.
Ghost. My brother has been trying to get me to go to a show, and I've heard some of the music, and I'm like, pass.
Right.
It's like the new Kiss.
I 100% agree with you.
And the last kind of that band style that I went to go see was Type O Negative, and it was okay. It was she's got a date at midnight.
How could you hate Ghost?
With
It had Demi Moore in it.
What? No, that's the movie.
Dude, like
Yeah, Ghost. That's
Yeah,
what I said.
he's
How
talking-
could you hate Ghost? It has Demi Moore in it.
He's talking about band. He's talking about the band.
You know, I find that offensive, Doyle, because like Patrick Swayze is dead, and are you trying to say that he is actually a ghost? And why are you talking smack about
Only if
ghosts?
he holds me while I'm making pottery. You know what I'm saying? This is
How else are you going to know that he loves you and cares about you deeply?
precisely.
Your indifference is what I'm challenging, Angel. I think that if we went to a show together, you'd feel the vibe. You would dig it. I
He's
think you would
asking
dig
you
it.
out.
I am. I'm
Is that a
asking you
date?
out.
I have to check with the missus.
Will you be my date to Ghost a year from now? Because I don't know when they're coming back, but they will, and it's gonna be great. And I will absolutely buy you a ticket, and we need to go because I really am convinced that you would have like the best time, and like your whole like.
Why are you
opinion will
winking at
change.
me?
Because I want you to come. Like I'm watching.
I will.
Yeah, I want you to come hard, baby, and lots.
Wait, that's not what I meant.
If he doesn't answer you, then you just got ghosted. I just,
that is funny. That's funny. That's funny.
You got what you want.
I'll end your statement. I'll end your statement with a quote from a song that they covered. It's if you have Ghost, you have everything.
All you need is ghosts. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Oh wait, that's wrong.
Wrong song. Yeah, but you do have everything if you have Ghost. That's all I'm gonna say.
I love the fact that you're playing that song in the background right now.
Well, the one before was from Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
I mean, Killer Clowns, of course. Clowns, Speaking of clowns, have you guys seen the new Twisted Metal?
Oh, I thought you were gonna ask if we've seen George.
No. Oh yeah. Speaking of clowns, I guess.
Okay. Go back to the Dickies. I want to hear the theme song of the Clowns, bro. Like that was for the Squid Squad
How
out
about
there.
this one?
Oh, dude, are you guys excited for the?
I'm very excited.
I'm excited for the.
We should go.
upcoming,
We should go see it.
I will go with you.
I'm
will go with
Ricky.
you.
Now
I'm
he's asking you out.
I'm
and
asking
he's
you out.
and he's winking back at me. You see, so it happened. I'm not
With my
getting
penis.
ghosted, bro. I'm in.
I'm
like
winking with my
Flynn.
foreskin.
Hey, speaking of foreskin, do you guys ever have that problem? When you like have to. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
We'll take it
Off
there.
the air. Off the air.
The moment you said foreskin, I was like, I'm out.
Well, are you Jewish or something, Doyle? Because my parents weren't Jewish.
No, I'm Christian, so same traditions.
Domenica Patio.
How many flacily
I don't hide.
Socius crimini. Sorry.
I don't have social anxiety.
Scrotum maximus. Foreskin minimus.
So, some guys.
Bacteria ouchicas.
Oh, that is. You might want to get that looked at.
Oh man, whoever argues for foreskin, I'm telling you, like they don't know what they're talking about. They don't know it. You know what? The Jewish
This episode
people,
is brought to you by Foreskin.
This is all about horror stuff. I'm talking about scary things here, guys.
This is scary.
That's scary.
The Jewish people were onto something. You truly are the chosen people because you got to clean that motherfucker.
Yes.
You just got to clean it because if you don't, like weird shit happens down there, man.
Lint.
Nacho cheese.
Yeah.
Gross.
Hey, you know what? The things I do for this show.
I don't do the.
I don't do any of that.
I bear myself open.
Doyle, you're on your own. I'm out of here. Bye.
Wait.
So, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. You they're making a video game of that?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Really? It's a multiplayer game though. It's gonna be like Dying by Dead by Daylight, and I'm
Oh, it's
dude, and
gonna
like
be like that?
Ash versus the Evil Dead, and great ideas, terrible
How
executions.
come they don't do story modes anymore?
Because too
Why
many.
does everything
costs
have to be
more.
online?
It costs
Does
more.
it really? Why?
No, it's actually okay. You're right, Doyle, on one level, but on the other level, the upkeep is more expensive.
Yes.
If the show is, if the game is not a hit and people are not buying like hand over fist, like all the like the pay to play stuff, then it's not worth it. The initial cost is cheap for them to make because building the engine, licensing, because usually they just go with Unreal Engine 5 or whichever, and then they just license it and then they build like all the stuff. And the most expensive part of it seems to be is like licensing the product. But then if the game becomes a hit, then the money they make is off of the back end, like upkeep and all that stuff is done through whatever subscription people pay into it. But right now, Ash versus Evil Dead, that game, it was a great looking game. There was a lot of great stuff about it. The actors came back and did voices, but they just announced that they're no longer going to support it.
Shut the front
it just
door.
came out like less than a year ago, I think.
It's okay. So what these cash grabs don't understand is that there's a premise of playing these games. So the Friday the 13th game where you got to be Jason or
I love
one
that
of the
one.
survivors.
Yeah.
That concept works because you've either wanted to be a killer or you've thought about like, could I survive? And so
You mean the game?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
Oh.
I sorry. I was off of my. Go continue.
Okay. So in those scenarios, you are now putting yourself into that role, and so it's very immersive. And so if you want to suck the audience in, you have to create something immersive. So in some of these games,
Enrique wants to suck it in,
I'm sucking it in right now.
whenever I see my wife,
and by that I mean the gut.
I was talking about my penis, but sure, yeah, my gut too. I got a
think
faja
every
for
man
that.
has tried to suck it in at least once. But not me.
Anyway, sorry, you were making a good point.
Yeah, okay. So in the regard of the game, like you always want to create something that's immersive and interactive. And so some of these games are not meant to be multiplayers. They definitely would work so much better if there was a story mode. And Ash, to be Ash and slice up a bunch of deadites, that is totally a third person like direct shooter.
Well, there was a game I think for the Xbox.
Yes.
That was about that. It's one of the only games my sister bought because she was a fan of that game, and it was a great game.
Yeah,
they could have totally done something similar now,
redo it.
and then added the multiplayer. Like for instance, Gears of War, the first one. I'm not talking about the other ones. It's a great freaking campaign, great cinematic storytelling, and then as an added bonus, it has the multiplayer.
Yes.
So it works both ways because you can play the multiplayer and then you can play the game itself.
Yeah.
So it's great. They should just continue doing stuff like
Best
that.
of both worlds is always the best outcome. But I think that when you do, when you try to tackle a franchise, the question is, okay, what story do you tell? Do you just retell the original? Which for us, the fans, the
you're
answer
right.
is yes.
Yes.
I think for the most part, us is tell the story.
You could for Killer Clowns, you could do like a sequel. You could do like a sequel,
think
like a different.
You
it's
need to
possible.
recap. You need to at least recap through the first 25% of the game, the story.
Well,
you need to recap because it's as much of a cult classic as it is. It's not a built-in audience. It's not pop culture or mainstream.
I agree.
So let me ask. I know it's not horror this particular game, but you guys remember the Warriors? Who doesn't? Right?
Come out to play.
Great cult film. I mean, I can argue that more people
I don't know.
know
Can
about
you
it.
dig it?
More people like it than know of it, or rather, less people know of it than like it. I think it's a really popular. It's been influential to a lot of games, like the Grand Theft Auto series, really heavily borrowed from the themes of that, and other movies have. Now, the thing about that movie is they made a great game from it, where any developer of any franchise should take notes from it. What they did was they got back as much of the cast as they could because some people had died and there was one guy who kind of held out. But generally,
Love that movie.
they had the
Love
whole
that
cast
game.
come out and did voices again, and they told a prequel story that led up into the events of the movie, and then you got to play through the movie in the game halfway through, with some slight variations, just so for interactivity. But essentially, you get to know how Rembrandt becomes a member of the Warriors. Rembrandt was, if you remember, he's the guy who throws up the the graffiti up on the walls, and you get to find out about his story. You get to find out about another recruit and how they used to be part of a different gang before I think they were part of the Coney Island. Gosh, I forget what the gang was, and then they decided to branch off into the Warriors. So essentially, they were a new gang, they were a new group. And then throughout the game, all of the motifs from the movie play out. The music, you have like the lady over the radio, like narrating things.
Hey, boppers.
Yeah, and so the game feels like the movie, and you're experiencing the story of the characters. However, once you get into the movie part.
Sorry, the chime went off.
That's okay. Once you get into the movie parts, you play through that too. And now, if you've never played or watched the movie, now you know what the movie's about too. It's great. And I think more game properties should do that. It would be great if Ash did that. It would have been great if Killer Clowns did that, but they're not. They're all going to just be multiplayer experiences, which...
Jury's still out for Killers. I'll still enjoy it. I'll still watch it. I mean, I'll still play it. I love the original movie. I mean, it's cheesy as fuck, like most, like, you know, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes,
as dope
Toxic
as
Avenger.
As dope as the Warriors is as a movie, I would have never joined that gang. They totally housed a rapist, and no one said anything. Ajax is a rapist. I said it there.
Ajax is a rapist.
I wouldn't join the gang just because I can't wear those little vests.
I think most of the guys in that gang.
I'm too fat for those.
They did a lot of running.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
I don't do cardio.
You know what? See, I think I probably would have joined the
Furies.
The Furies,
Yeah.
Angel,
all they did was dress up.
Have you seen like a Hell's Angel guy in a vest? I mean, these guys look just like you. All like.
Can't do it. My gut's too big.
Girthus Maximus that you got going there, and they're wearing. And they got vests. You'd rock it, bro.
Nah,
you'd rock the vest.
Nah. Yeah. I'd be a Fury.
Like, we played Tune in Tokyo. Tune in Tokyo. Like
puff fast. What horror movie? Let's stick to the genre since we're here. What horror movie would you like to see as a video game, and what would your pitch be for it?
Oh, that's a great question, man. Wow. That is a great question. If Doyle, if you have a ready answer, go say it.
I got a ready answer.
Okay, go.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh, hold on. I gotta turn for this. Okay, go.
Okay. I know this is gonna sound crazy, but my pitch for the show or for the game is that you're playing as Freddy, and the goal of the game is to incite and create as much fear in the teenagers as possible. And you're actually battling other things in the dream world. Like, you know, I'd kind of create like a hack and slash kind of like God of War type of thing. But I would also create like, do you remember Punisher for the PS2 where you could interact with like things? Yeah. I would totally create like these Freddy scenarios where you could like start to harass the young kids and stuff. And so like in the game you would also have to build up like a certain level of terror before you could actually execute. And then depending on in each kid, like, you know, eventually one of the kids would start to fight back, and those would be your bosses. And so you create the Dream Master, etc. You know,
I'm gonna piggyback on yours. I mean, I'll think of one right now, but I want to add to yours. I would not release Nightmare on Elm Street the game. I would release probably Dream Warriors, like just call it the Dream Warriors, and not hint anything on the cover about Freddy Krueger. Just that. Play the game for the first 5 minutes. You're like in a war with these kids. And it's kind of like the weird, dramatic, kind of like what's the name of that? Last Rain or something like that. Those weird games. All of a sudden, the game starts glitching, a la Arkham Asylum Scarecrow. You know that one Scarecrow thing where he starts glitching and everything starts going crazy.
I'm going to add to what you're saying a little bit.
Then jump into Freddy Krueger going after you and your friends and your teammates. Okay, so I would add that. I mean, that's my.
So it's not yours. What I would do. I mean, I like your idea, and it's actually like your idea. The game would be called Dream Warriors. And there would be 4 different characters you can play as. And, I like that. And each character you play as
has its own strength and weakness.
You would play their scenario. You get to explore their powers. So basically, I would go farther, not 5 minutes. I go a little bit longer. Each character you play about 10 to 15 minutes of their story, and you get to experience their powers. You get to experience their dream, not their nightmares, their dreams, and see them. Basically, they make you feel powerful. Some of them can fly, some of them can manipulate time, whatever. And then after you get to play each 4 character and it ends at a certain point, the next time you play them, their dream starts again, but this time things start to change and little pieces of Elm Street start to show up in their dream. Before you know it, it's boom, it's the house. Then you're in there, and then you start seeing the little girls, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
You know, the best part about doing something like that is like you're like creating these characters that people will get invested in before, and like maybe like a subtle hint of Freddy in the normal dream. And so then like I'd add a fifth character in, and you'd be playing this character like in the real world and be playing it straight, and then that character would start like dozing off.
Yeah.
And that's where you start to feel like the crossover, like the Scarecrow scene.
That
That's
would
where
be
you're
cool.
like, holy what am I
I
doing?
would play the hell out of that game.
That'd be fun.
You go in, like I'll even call out the games that you can mimic out. One of them would be definitely God of War and Assassin's Creed.
Yes,
I would want to get like little pieces of Silent Hill in there, like in terms of like the dynamic camera angles, because I think open world is great, but I think sometimes you gotta have dynamic movie cameras just following your character.
I'm gonna throw in two games that I would like to include that I know neither of you have heard. One of them is called Siren.
I have it.
And the other one is Obscure.
I have it.
I have Obscure.
I have both of them.
And
Siren's
I think
great.
add a little bit of those elements into this somehow.
Yeah.
There was a
and
game, and I think
something.
it was either on 64 or PlayStation, but like you were playing as this character, and you had to monitor their like mental health, and like
I know which one. It's GameCube, and it's called Requiem something. I know the game. The game is very heavily influenced by H.P. Lovecraft, and it's also, but it plays like Zelda in the sense that you have like these hub worlds, and you play as different characters through different times, and each of them sort of befall a fate. But the main character is a girl who goes into a mansion, and she's trying to find her grandfather, who turns out to be dead. And then the game revolves around her experience. She becomes the focal point, but you get to experience these different timelines from different characters. It's called Sanity of Requiem or something like that. It's a great game. It's very expensive. I own it. I played it. I love it. Funny side note, it has nothing to do with the game itself, but the mechanic, the sanity aspect of the game, Nintendo had trademarked it. So no other game has been able to use it. As much as they tried, they cannot use that game mechanic because it's genius.
I would take that exact mechanic and call it something else.
Although I think the trademark's about to be up either next year or the year after, so people are like really hovering over
Perfect time.
Yeah.
Because if you could take that mechanic and put that into the game, and so as you're playing as one of the characters, one of the actual humans, you're, instead of having a life gauge, you put that meter in the game, and if your meter goes too high, then Freddy has enough power to kill you. And so you're trying to navigate through the nightmare world, and Freddy's like stalking you, and if the nightmare gauge goes too high, then he gets to kill you. And so you could die in so many different facets and different ways. And what's scary about that is, imagine as a player that you're playing as, let's just say, some blonde girl, and you see a TV up against the wall, and your gauge is already past the point of like no return. Like, you know, at any moment Freddy could kill you, and you look at the TV and it takes you back to Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, where he pulls the girl's face into the TV. And so you're just kind of like trying to avoid the TV, and then it gets you some other kind of way. Like,
that's cool.
You're going up against the wall, and it actually comes out of the wall.
Yeah. But you're avoiding the TV, knowing,
because you know from the movie.
Yeah. And so that's a great way to call back. And so,
did you guys ever play that? What is it called? That trailer PT?
Yes, I played it. I so wish I still. So you know how you can buy a PlayStation
just for the PT,
that has it installed, because that game doesn't exist anymore. Dude, yeah, it's such a great idea, man. Konami really fucked up with that one.
Konami has been really shitting the bed in the last God knows how long.
What company has it?
True.
But Konami is notorious because look at their history in terms of the games. They, like in the 80s, they were responsible for some of our more like famous Castlevania, Metal Gear,
they were responsible
Russian
for
Attack.
up, down, down.
Yes, they were great games. And then somewhere in the 90s, they sort of started like kind of falling, and then they released Metal Gear. They did Yu-Gi-Oh, but nobody really associates Konami with Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh is a beast of its own, but Konami was responsible for it.
Who's responsible for Twisted Metal?
Sony?
Santa Monica Studios.
Santa Monica Studios,
and then
Sony,
Santa Monica Studios, but then Sony completely took it away.
Yeah, let them in.
Because I'm thinking like Sweet Tooth.
Yeah.
You know. Have you guys seen the new Twisted Metal?
No,
I have not seen the show.
My wife and me are waiting for the whole thing to finish, and then we're going to watch it.
Oh, is it still like a weekly thing? I didn't know. I guess I'm glad I haven't watched it.
We started talking about Killer Clowns, and then Sweet Tooth came to mind, and I was just like, man.
We'll go back to that.
That would be a good fight.
We'll go back to that because I really want to ask you about it.
Games.
I haven't seen Killer Clown since I was a kid. Like I haven't seen it since I was a kid.
I haven't seen it since I was 22.
So I mean, like I remember it.
So 22 years ago, I haven't seen it.
I've always had a fear of clowns.
Yeah.
I've always had it.
Who hasn't?
Most people do. Right?
Most people do.
There's a
That's
video.
because you are a clown.
There's a great video of like a clown in the woods who's standing there and they're like, "Hey man," and it's like a bunch of gangsters. I'm like sitting in the car and they're like, "Hey man, what's going on? Why he over there looking like that?" And then the clown like has a machete in his hand. He starts running at the car, and they're like, "Hey!"
I've seen it.
The driver pulls out a gun. He's like, "Back the up, back the up!" And the clown puts his hands up, and immediately they were like, "Shoot your!" And then, how can you be afraid of a clown if you could just pull out a pistol? You know, that's the thing about Freddy. I could pull out all the pistols I want. He's just gonna get up, keep coming.
Bomba clot.
Bomba clot.
Okay, so that's one game based on a horror movie. What about you, Enrique?
Okay, so, I was thinking of two of them, but I guess I'll just pick one. I would love to do a Return of the Living Dead, not Night of the Living Dead, not The Walking Dead, Return of the Living Dead, and I would want to. First of all, I would want to play the events as depicted in the movie of the original outbreak in the town. I'd want to introduce the town and the history of it. Because if you remember in the movie Return of the Living Dead, they hint that the events of Night of the Living Dead
were real.
Were real, except with some changes. Mm-hmm. So I'd want to revisit their version of that. That would be my prequel of the game, or it would be the first part
chapter.
Of it, mm-hmm. Right? And then you would play the old man. I forget his name. Ernie, and then the other one,
Bert, and Freddy was a young kid.
So I'd want to get to know Ernie because Ernie is hinted, you told me, as being a Nazi.
Yes.
I would love to see his story play out, like as a side, like in the beginning, right? And I would also love to see the other character as a young guy,
Bert.
Yeah, Bert, hearing about these events and maybe even being involved in some way. I think that there's a way we can retcon that a little bit enough that it would be interesting. I don't know. And then boom. You start moving towards the events of the game. You get introduced to the punk characters.
Spider, Suicide.
Right. So the game itself wouldn't be an RPG. It wouldn't be open world. It would be kind of a straight, kind of like it'd be like a straight like game with some slight.
Dead, what is it called? Oh, God, that game with the zombies. It's 3 parts.
Sure, but what I think would be interesting is. Because the zombies both talk and they run. One thing, you'd be being chased by these zombies, so there would be that, and it would be heavily music. There would be some cool aspect to it, but the odds would always be stacked against you, right? You wouldn't be a powerful character. Anytime those things run after you, if they're chasing you, there's a 50% chance you're going to get killed by them. So you got to run, and there's hordes of them. But the point of the game would be to interact with the zombies, talk with them. Like, remember that one zombie that's talking about why they're dead? That's what I would want. I would want
pain of being dead.
I would want to find out about that, and then the game wouldn't end with the nuclear bomb.
Dead Rising.
That's a great game. That's a fun game. They wouldn't end with the nuclear holocaust like that they inflict on American soil. Actually, it would continue from there. We would see a little bit more after that. I don't know what that is, but I always wanted to know more. And the sequel doesn't tickle my pickle.
The sequel is basically a retelling of the first story.
Yeah,
even
and
Bert, not Bert, but Bert and Freddy are back in the sequel.
Yeah,
and it's funny because they're like, something seems familiar about this.
Yeah,
that is fucking hilarious.
Well, the best part, the movie's a joke when they have like a little guy dressed like Michael Jackson getting electrocuted doing
his dance.
It's so stupid.
That was the best part.
But I would want to play that.
Have you guys seen part 3?
No.
With Mindy Clark?
No.
Terrible movie. Mindy Clark, super hot in the movie. Just that's all I'm gonna say.
I'm gonna say yes and like just let it go because
she's infected. Her boyfriend's with her the whole time. They're trying to I think there's cholos after her.
Yes,
wake up, caca.
Yes, I have seen that.
And then she's starts eating the cholos, and then in order to stop her from eating, she actually starts stabbing pieces of glass into her body because the pain keeps her alive.
Yeah.
So let me ask you though, okay, the question is a great question about what kind of horror game you'd make. But my question to you then is, what would make a horror game compelling? I know the games that I loved growing up playing that were horror based. When they became more 3D, like Silent Hill, Resident Evil, you talked about Siren. That was a great game with some cool mechanics.
Remember D?
D was great. There was this game on the PC called Sanatorium. Do you remember that?
I remember Sanatorium.
It was like you're like a guy. It's all like overhead, kind of like Diablo, and you're going through a sanitarium, and you're interacting with different characters, and you're sort of finding out that your character is like. He's not a doctor. He's actually one of them. He's like insane or something like that. And it's just it's great. I love those narratives. I love those stories. But what would make, like, in this modern time, a compelling horror game? I mean, I think that the Nightmare on Elm Street, we got to make that happen. That sounds like a great fucking game.
Yeah.
But
the
what
only
makes
problem is for licensing, it's gonna be a fucking headache.
Sure.
And then the fact that now what happens is, I don't know why movie studios and video game studios do this. Like they get license agreements, but only with expiration dates, and it's like, a video game doesn't expire. You can't do that shit, dude. So how can you come out with a game like Friday the 13th and then get it stuck in licensing death for the remainder of its life?
Right.
That is pathetic. Why even do it? It doesn't. It's not fair to the people. But I don't know. I feel that there has to do something new. I don't know what the answer is for a new horror movie base. I don't know what I would do. Stranger Things is already done. They did an 8-bit version of that.
Yeah.
They did Jaws.
Whenever, is it just me, but whenever they release a property on a phone, like a very kind of like mainstream consumption kind of game, that I don't count it.
Yeah.
I don't think, like The Walking Dead in my mind hasn't really had a like honest to goodness game other than maybe
if
like
it's not in the
one
console. If it's not in the console, for me it's like
Yeah.
They have Saints and Sinners, I think it's called, the Meta Quest one.
There were two of that,
and then there's one for the phone. But they're like,
they did a PC one, and I don't remember. Like, these games are they were just not good. So, okay, so I want to ask you guys about Killer Clowns, though, and if I can I read the summary of this, because
sure,
I kind of want to read the summary of the.
Can I throw in mine?
Please.
Twin Peaks.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Twin Peaks.
Dude, Silent Hill is Twin Peaks.
No, but I mean an actual clusterfuck of a mindfuck as Twin Peaks.
Fun fact: I've never seen Twin Peaks.
Oh, dude, you're missing out.
Yeah,
you're missing out.
Full confession, I haven't seen the whole thing. I've seen parts of it, and I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. I'll be back, and I leave the room, but I don't have the patience for it. But
I've watched.
Oh my god, that Julie Cruz song playing through the whole thing, which is on the list by the way. But I think that would be a pretty good little thing.
So when you listen to the original Silent Hill theme, it's basically the Twin Peaks theme to some degree.
Yeah.
But okay, so going back to Twin Peaks, like, dude, I can't believe you haven't watched it, Doyle. Like, Twin Peaks is so good. It's so epic. First season obviously was all David Lynch. The second season there was a lot of hands in the pot from what I understand, and he wasn't very happy with how it went, but I still think it's great TV. Dude, like the newer season, they came out on, was it Showtime? Cinemax? I forget where it came out, like about 4 years ago. Dude, it was so good too. It was so good, where he kind of explains. Okay, did you guys ever watch Eraserhead?
Yes.
You familiar with Eraserhead, Doyle?
No.
Okay, so Eraserhead was David Lynch's first movie, and it's a very kind of college based. Like, you can see, like, it's a very art house film, but it's so cool. There's so many good ideas. Essentially, it's a guy who has like this big floppy hair, like working in a factory of some sort, making, I don't know what he does, but he ends up meeting the girl. They get married. They have a kid, and their life falls apart because of it. Now that is the simple summary, but what the parts that I left off on is like how the world they exist in is like this, like nightmarish, dystopian factory oil-ridden world, and it just seems so normal to them. Their baby happens to be this little like looking ant/fetus. It's just weird. It's so weird. He takes those themes later on in the newer Twin Peaks, and he does something really great where he explores like the other dimension, if you will, in Twin Peaks. And dude, it's a great
Is it Lovecraftian?
It's very Lovecraftian.
Okay.
In the sense that it's very cosmic horror. It's like it's a dread. It's a dread and horror that you cannot explain. It has no real form.
Okay.
Yes. When people ask me like, what does it mean to be Lovecraftian, and it's hard to explain, but I think I got it. Lovecraftian is not like any specific monster or creature, and it has nothing to do really with outer space. But what it has to do is with existential dread and the manifestation of those dreads into like creatures or things that you can't explain. So like
it
the
has
Blob.
nothing to do with love.
It has nothing to do with love
Or
or
craft.
craft.
I was expecting some home brewing and stuff, and I'm like, it never happened.
Yeah, and we will never find out who Max Headroom really was, even through Lovecraftian horror, my friend.
This is not true at all.
Yeah.
I still think it's George.
He's not here to defend himself, so maybe there's some truth in that.
He's doing something right
He's doing
now.
something else. Watch, something else is gonna come out.
Right now, he's hijacking some PBS show over there.
In Blatzvana. Blatzavania.
Go watch Sound of Freedom.
Oh, dude. Okay, so let me read you the Killers from Clowns.
go ahead.
Can you play the theme song for me?
I'll play it again.
I want to hear it. It was done by a punk band, by the way. They call it Dixies, I believe.
Yeah, I have the album.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Okay, so for the fans out there who have not seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space, it's a ridiculously fun, stupid movie. And here goes. It's when teenagers Mike, Grant, played by Grant Kramer, and Debbie, played by Suzanne Snyder, see a comet crash outside their sleepy small town. They investigate and discover a pack of murderous aliens who look very much like circus clowns. They try to warn the local authorities, but everyone assumes their story is a prank. Meanwhile, the clowns set about harvesting and eating as many people as they can. It's not until they kidnap Debbie that Mike decides it's up to him to stop the clown's bloody rampage. Now, how stupid does that sound?
It actually
But how badass is it?
You know what? It's one of those movies that you expect, like, okay, what am I walking into? And you feel it going in. But, like, by the time you get through with it, you feel ashamed of yourself for liking it. But then you start realizing, like, I'm not the only one.
So the new Killer Clowns for Enrique is The Flash. Got it.
Yes, this is true. It's very true.
And by the way, the band is the Dickies.
Dickies, yeah. They call them the Dixies?
They call them the Dixies.
I think I did. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
I've been there. They have great barbecue.
I like the Dixie Chicks.
Dude, you know, back in 2018, the Dickies performed that song live for like an event. I think it was at the Multiband Theater. It was a screening with a concert.
2018, I think, was the anniversary for the
Yeah,
movie. So that's why
At the Mega Man Theater, I love that place.
How about this one? Nobody?
No, that's great, though.
Right?
That's great.
This is also Killer Clowns from Outer Space. This is the Killer Clown March.
Ooh, getting shivers.
The music also makes the movie.
I can see why a game developer is listening to the soundtrack and says, you know what, I want to fucking make a game with that music.
Listen to that shit. Look at it.
Yeah. Oh.
Ghost too.
Actually, that sounds like Ghost, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm serious. It sounds like the first two albums of Ghost. So, yeah, Ghost, them. I'm just saying.
What other weird little occult movies are there? You guys see The Gate?
Well,
have you guys ever seen The Gate?
Of course, it's such a... Oh, how about... No, remember Terrorvision?
Terrorvision, classic.
Terrorvision was like such a stupidly great movie.
Videorama.
Ooh, you know, but if we're talking about clowns, you got to go with the classic. It.
Oh, yeah.
The original
It was great, man.
As campy
Don't
as...
get me wrong. I like the new one, but it's not scary. It's fun. It's not scary.
The first chapter is scary.
It has its moments.
The first movie...
Yeah, it has its moments.
Had its moments. The Hall of Mirrors...
Yeah.
That's a great scene. Mm-hmm. I would have crapped my pants.
So, you know, going back...
What if you have? I could explain you from here.
The thing about like these...
business. About
these movies, particularly in the 80s, is you can tell like it was like such a Wild West for movies because it was really just movie nerds thinking of an idea Like one, and everything was written around that one scene. That's why you get so many B movies. So, for example, when you think of Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the whole movie was born from one idea. The Chiodo brothers, the guys, the comedians, who, they were trying to think, what is the scariest image that you can come up with? And for one of them, the idea of riding down a dark country road. Like, think of these highways, the 10 freeway going to like Phoenix or going to Las Vegas, and driving down that country road, and to your left, a clown peering at you from another car. Right now, if you remember in the movie, there's a scene, there's a scene where like the guy's driving down the country road and he looks to his left and there's a clown and he's not in a car.
Bicycle, no?
No, yeah, I don't think so. I think he's just floating like this, beside him and looking in and waving at him.
I couldn't remember a bicycle.
There might have been a bicycle.
I may be wrong.
No, it's okay. But the point though is that for them, that whole movie came from that idea. Now think about Terror Vision. What is the whole fear in Terror Vision? Remember,
TV? No kidding.
It is. It's TV and aliens like reaching out through like the SETI satellite. So you know that some dude was like, "What if like aliens could reach
Gremlins?"
Yes, it's Gremlins.
Did I tell you? Anyway, two things. You guys are killing me here, man. This show like triggers my ADHD because I'm like on one topic and then you guys look at the bird. I'm like, oh, let me talk about something else, and then I forget that first topic. I can tell you, there's so many unfinished threads throughout the 2 years of our podcast.
Hey, man, and I'm letting you go on this one. I'm not interrupting. So
I'm just saying that
that wasn't me interrupting. That was him.
Yeah, thanks, Doyle. Terror Vision is stupid. Whatever. I'd rather talk about Goonies. I went to go watch Goonies at the drive-in, and I told you guys a story, right?
Refresh my memory.
I was at the drive-in watching a movie, not Goonies, by the way, but I thought, like, I was looking at the screen. You know how at the drive-in, the cars are parked and you can see other screens like a mile away?
Right.
One of the screens was playing what I thought was the Goonies, and the whole time these little creatures are coming out of the ground. And I'm thinking, like, where are the Goonies? The Goonies never came.
They never came.
It turned out to be the Ghoulies that they were watching.
This movie was amazing, and it inspired so many knockoffs, like ghouls, trolls, critters. What other ones are there? There's a bunch of them that came out when this movie came out, man.
This movie, man, there's so much. I love when a movie creates its own lore.
Yeah.
There was the classic, the movie monster, the gremlin on the plane.
Mm-hmm.
There was that, but then when this comes out and it takes it to a whole another level, like you could imagine if this thing was in my basement and I saw this thing, and, like you started to see it open and hatch. Mm-hmm. What would you do? What would your reaction be? Because mine, I'm moving like neighborhoods.
Bring the raid.
There's not enough raid for that thing. That thing was like 4 feet tall? A 4-foot egg with a little demon monster?
No, I think it was like 3. Because they had it in a little bird cage.
Big enough.
Yeah, no, it's fucking scary ass shit. But that's fucking awesome. All right, but let's go back to the thought of all the horror movies from the 80s that were like just random shit. They had Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. I had talked about this earlier, Killer Condoms. They had Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Did you guys ever see the one about the killer tire?
We didn't talk about the Killer Condoms. We talked about it off air with the nerds. With the nerds that were in here.
Keeping up with the nerds.
Keeping up with the nerds, guys. Yeah, shout out. We'll some great stuff will be happening with them very soon. We'll mum's the word until we do it.
Orgy.
Yeah, you cochino, bro. This is why we can't have nice things, Angel. Anyways, no. So tell me about the movie. What is Killer Condoms? Does anybody know?
Please don't tell me about this movie.
I want to know.
Killer Condoms was about this condom-looking monster. And basically what it was is like it would sneak into people's rooms when it's a Z movie. It would sneak into rooms when people are going at it, and it would pretend to be a condom. But then when the guy would slip it on, it actually had teeth in the opening, and it would just bite down on it. It's really a terrible movie. It's up there with, like I said, the Killer Tire movie, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, and the Killer Donuts one. I don't know if you guys ever saw that one.
I saw Killer Donuts. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's that style of like camp or Toxic Avengers, like that kind of like trauma vision type stuff.
Right. So
you cannot put Toxic Avengers in the same category as Killer
Toxic
Condoms.
Avengers is a little higher, but it's still Trauma Vision.
is it a little higher? Though?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just for cult. I can't back up that statement. Just listen to the music.
How about Nukem High? Come on.
Duke Nukem High.
No, Nukem. All these movies came
Nukem
from
High.
Trauma.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
Nukem
yeah.
High.
Like Tromaville was epic. They really they set the tone for what later on would become like 90s.
I never liked the Trauma stuff. I'm sorry.
Yeah?
I never did. I never got into it. It annoyed me. There's a lot of straight to video stuff that I like Children of the Living Dead for being terrible. Meat Market series is terrible, but I love watching it. But the Trauma Vision stuff, I don't know. I just felt like I felt dirty watching it. It's like, quick, put on a porno.
Yeah, because they knew it sold. They knew how they were going to get their money back. It was half like slasher, half shock, and most porn for sure. It was, but what I mean, dude, I just
or what's the new one? Asylum movies where you go to the store to pick up Transformers and they have Transmorphers next to it.
Yeah.
It's the same shit. What about this one?
No, dude, but Asylum is banking on people's like ignorance to the names of things.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of despicable. I don't think. I mean, it's genius, but it's also despicable because
Very predatorial.
right.
What was it?
Where like I think Tromaville just knew that people wanted to see tits and ass in movies, and they gave it to them. I mean, the 80s was all about that. I just watched Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and dude, Phoebe Cates, boob action. Like really, there's no reason to show them. But
Yes, there is.
But they're there.
Confession: I've never seen Fast Times.
Watch it.
I've never seen it.
I would love your opinion of it mainly because it really is that generation's like later on. I can't hardly wait, and like each generation sort of has a movie that defines their era. To some degree, I think Dazed and Confused does a great. And actually, it's also now that I think about it, Dazed and Confused. Did Cameron Crowe do that one? Was it
Dazed and Confused?
Yeah.
Did you
Or
just
was it somebody
say
else?
that-
I don't think so.
Because Cameron
Hardly
Crowe
Cameron Crowe did.
Can Hardly Wait. I
Cameron
think it's
Crowe did
You
Almost
think
I'll
that-
tell you
Famous.
right now. I'll tell you right now. Yeah. I do.
Almost Famous, Vanilla Sky.
Right. Well,
I don't know if he did Dazed and Confused.
He did. No, he did Fast Times at Ridgemont High though. It's a screenplay
Did
from him.
he?
Yeah, I believe so. It's based off. But Doyle, to your point, yes, Can Hardly Wait. I will defend it as a movie of its time that shows all of the different tropes and cliques that kind of were happening in the 90s amongst teenagers. I do think that the movie depicts that 90s kind of thing in the same way that Fast Times at Ridgemont High depicts a kind of late 70s, early 80s kind of like high school
I'll be
group.
damned. It was his first movie.
Yeah.
I am not going to argue with you, but God, it made me feel dirty
Yeah?
on the inside to think that Can't Hardly Wait to find the 90s.
Did you know that in 1986 they did Fast Times, a TV series? Did they do that?
Did not know that.
Huh.
Did not know that.
That's scary.
Defined a generation, Doyle. Like they were a national treasure.
National treasure.
I don't know about Can't Hardly Wait. Can we use the Crow instead?
No, okay. What would
Can't
be?
rain all the time.
Can't hardly wait. This motherfucker's can't rain all the time. Eric Draven, or what was his name?
Yeah.
God. No, okay. What would be our generation's voice in a movie?
Like for us, and sadly to say, Can't Hardly Wait.
You think so?
Kind of, yeah. Look at all the different tropes in there. Like, look. You can sort of, to be fair, we come like I think the East Coast and West Coast are always going to be somewhat different than the rest of the country in terms of like the tropes. They mimic ours.
I was gonna say American Pie, but okay.
I would say American Pie too.
I wouldn't.
No, I second yours. I Can't Hardly Wait makes more sense, as much as I don't want to admit it.
American Pie does a great job of capturing some parts of our of that era. They do, but I think Can't Hardly Wait because it's an ensemble cast. It kind of it takes the check marks off of the type of movies that usually try to do that. Like it's usually the culmination of like a year of a senior year, if not a college year. Think of every movie that has kind of done that. Go back to
Euro Trip.
Animal House. Eurotrip is a farce. It's amazing, and I love it, but it's
Don't
not.
say that.
It's a farce. I'm sorry. It's not. It's not to take away from it. It's amazing, but it's not. Dude, how many of us have gone to Europe on sex ventures? You know, to Club Vandersex.
Time out.
This horror show has really got derailed.
Do it in my van every Sunday. She tells him she's at church, but she doesn't go. But she's on her knees, and Scotty doesn't know.
Scotty doesn't know. So don't tell Scotty. Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know.
Ah, come on.
Happy Halloween.
Mail, motherfuckers.
Happy Halloween, everybody. Scotty doesn't know.
Dress up as Scotty for Halloween.
I'll dress up as Fiona.
Okay. You know, because
Enrique, you have to be what's his name?
I want to be
Matt Damon.
No. I want to be Fred Armiston as the Italian guy. Mi scusi.
You got to be the robot. I'm Error, my balls.
It imposes.
All right, question. Killer Clowns. Back to clowns.
Oh, back to that. Okay.
What is the scariest clown depicted in movies? In your opinion?
I was gonna say.
So Doyle says Joker. He said that really fast. Okay.
No, that was really fast.
There's a reason, and I'll totally break this down if you guys want me to.
I do, but let's just give a quick answer, and then we'll go back to the breakdowns.
Okay, fair.
So Joker
you go.
used to be Pennywise. Now it's the dude from Terrifier.
Okay.
Terrifier. Yeah, Terrifier.
Scares the shit out of me. You go.
House of a Thousand Corpses.
Gotcha. I know. What's his name?
Yeah.
What's
Dr. Satan? No, not Dr. Satan.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll find the name. But okay, so you go.
Stories
Joker.
are terrible, but I love his
The
look.
reason why that clown is scary is because I don't want him to touch me. This is serious. That guy is disgusting. I mean, he does a great job. He's a great actor, but don't touch me, sir. Okay, so let me tell you, and let me break it down. I'm actually also going to get into some nerd culture and talk about why Jack Nicholson is a better Joker than Heath Ledger.
You don't have to. I'm already in.
Okay, fair. I love Heath Ledger's Joker, and I know a lot of people are like, that's the greatest impression of the Joker of all time, except I'm going to blow this case wide open. So, Jack Nicholson is a mass murderer who makes no sense. He is a psychological sociopath. Mm-hmm. In the original Batman 1984, there is these moments that you see him kind of building more unstable. And so as campy and as goofy as it is, there's that moment where he scars his girlfriend and he calls it art.
Yeah.
And there's something very morbid about when you see him going through the museum and he's looking at the art, and then they're destroying all the art, but then he sees the one that's like super messed up, and his partner is about to destroy
Bob.
it. He goes, no.
Don't forget Bob's name.
Yeah.
It's Bob.
Well, he didn't make it through the movie, so rest in peace, Bob. But at the end of the movie, without reason, the Joker takes $20 million and draws massive amounts of people in, like probably millions of people. Then he just starts gassing them
while
in the
playing
street.
Princess Trust. Who do ya?
Right, dancing
Trust
to it. Like, I mean, people are
wanna
dying,
get
gasping for their lives in the middle of the street. You think COVID was bad, and I'm just like, dang, that's crazy. Because if you think about that, here's why Heath Ledger's Joker is not as scary. As much of a character and as much depth as that individual has, he is very like personal. He's a personal type like villain. People said, oh well, when he blew up the hospital, he created a mass murder, but it doesn't show anybody in the hospital.
No, they evacuated before.
They evacuated, so he was smart enough to know that there was nobody in the hospital before he detonated the hospital. That's not a psychopath. I would have to imagine that Jack Nicholson knew that there were children in the audience when he was gassing the crowd, and he still did it. That is a sick man, and that guy is scary because you don't know what he's gonna do. Even the guy who was close to him, Bob, he just pulls out the gun and shoots him.
Yeah.
So that's my answer.
I agree. Here's my I'm gonna play a quick scene. This is my
guys want to stay here, or should we go check out the huge line at the Eiffel Tower?
Here's a fun fact. Voltaire contracted syphilis just 2 blocks from here. Should we go?
Can we please just get out of here? This guy's really creepy.
That's not Captain Spaulding.
Who,
No,
Robot
this
Man?
is scary.
He's just trying to feed his robot family.
I really don't like him.
Why? Because he's doing this?
All right. Okay, seriously, don't do that.
Cooper, do not hate me.
Told you AI was the devil.
600 dance moves, and I am programmed to get
Busy.
Qu'est-ce que tu penses que tu fais ici? Je suis le seul robot dans ce coin.
Dans ce coin.
just upset because people like me better. It's okay.
Sorry, I just had to play it. No, but Captain Spaulding, yeah, from whatchamacallit, that's a. I just like the character. I think it's a pretty cool character, to tell the truth.
It like describe, like say the Squid Squad never saw the movie.
Okay, there's 3 movies. There's House of a Thousand Corpses.
Okay.
There's The Devil Rejects, and what's the name of the third one? The Devil's 3? No, The Future.
Devil's Rejects.
The Devil Rejects is the second one.
Okay, I don't remember the other one.
1,000 corpses and some Rob Zombie crap that is always
That
the
doesn't
same.
matter
Yeah.
because it's just to get his wife on the air.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the movies themselves are not the greatest. I think The Devil's Reject is probably the best one because they're on the run and it's a little more of a heist kind of from dusk till dawn type of genre. But I just like Captain Spaulding's look, that psychoticness that he has, that weird pedo look that he has, and it's like, dude, he's not fooling anyone. He doesn't look like a clown. He's just like a very creepy fucking guy. That's my take. I think that character was wasted on Rob Zombie's movies. I
Agreed.
think that's something great with that.
I agree. I think in the way that Doyle talks about the Joker, I think there's a lot of great ideas around the Joker. There's like 100 years almost of lore for the Joker now, right? But about 90 years, I would say. But and each time, they sort of tap back into parts of the Joker that make him super interesting. Like, is it the criminal aspect? Is it the anarchist aspect? Is it the supernatural, which was kind of explored in the 90s and mid 2000s? At the end of the day, the writers will always capitalize on what makes Joker a really great character, and that's that visually he is the antithesis of Batman. Batman is all serious, he has an agenda. Joker has no agenda, he's not serious, and when it comes down to it, like, he's a force of nature. So very cool. For me, the scariest con, and like I said, Pennywise was like, dude, like things of nightmares for me growing up. But Terrifier, like, his name is Art the Clown. Art the Clown is this, like, when he apparently he was I didn't know this. I just found this out right now because I was kind of quickly doing a little bit of research just to,
For once.
all the time, bro. Shut up. I am all about the research, and you know this. That's why you hate me.
That's not why.
Yeah, you do.
You hate me because you ain't me.
You hate me because you ate me.
You promised you wouldn't say anything.
So Art the Clown was originally premiered in a movie that made by the writer-director in something called the Ninth Circle of Hell, and portrayed by a different actor. And then he made his feature film debut in something called All Hallows Eve, where 2 scenes from the original Terrifier and the original Ninth Circle of Hell were used as VHS sequences and retold. His official movie is now in Terrifier 1, 2, and 3, which, these movies have become kind of huge hits from. And Art the Clown each time is portrayed as this kind of like, initially you think that he's just some regular guy, crazy guy that, mind you, runs into 2 girls at a diner or a burger shop and follows them home and essentially stalks them and murders them, and in very terrifying, horrible ways. The thing that scares me about him is that rictus smile. You know what I mean by a rictus smile? It's the sort of grin that skeletons make when skin is being pulled back, and you can almost imagine, like, as a body decomposes, that rictus smile is something we all are going to have at some point in our life, or at the end of it. And so the clown represents
Not me.
death.
I'm getting Botox.
Or you're going to get cremated. I want cremation.
I want to be cremated and put into an hourglass.
That would be beautiful. So that you would be on time all the time, and then you can be an asshole about it.
Yeah. And if you don't turn, if the sand runs out, I'm going to come back and haunt your ass. That's what I'll do.
Well, yeah. Or we'll just get Leonardo DiCaprio to snort Your fucking ashes
Out of an
some
asshole?
hooker's asshole. Wolfie.
That'll
Wolfie.
work. I'm in for both.
Yeah, so Terrifier. Great movie, man. Good movie.
You know what? I think the Terrifier has probably
Speaking of which,
one of the most intense looks as far as a clown, and it takes me to like those intense moments from like 2016 when that clown scare was going around, and like, you know, clowns were showing up everywhere, and everybody was like, man, like this is like what's going on, you know, like there's so many people who have like ring footage of clowns.
That's good.
thank you.
That's good music.
And like what I kind of like revisited a lot of those like compilations. Some of that stuff is pretty terrifying. There's one where
Would you say it's a terrifying?
there's a person who was gonna walk across a bridge, and they get halfway across the bridge, and then out of the woods a clown walks out,
Oh,
and he's standing there with a knife,
I've seen it.
and they're like, holy sh, and then the clown starts moving, and they're on like a rope bridge of all things. So the
shoot.
rope bridge is like moving, swaying back and forth, and then the clown just starts running at him.
fuck me, man. Oh, dude, that no, I'm not kidding. That made my heart beat. You know, okay, so
What is it with most people's fear of clowns? What is it? The uncanny valley thing? Is it that you know that it's like they're just trying to be funny when they're not? what is
That's
it?
a really good question.
Because it's pretty natural for people to not to be afraid of them. I mean, I know Doyle, you're not, but
It's
I mean,
one of the highest
I'm
phobias.
I'm not afraid of clowns, but I do get the heebie-jeebie factor from like, what the fuck, you know?
Okay, so someone told me this a long time ago, and it made sense to me. 'Cause
Put it
I
away.
know a lot of people who are afraid of clowns, and this is what they said: you don't know what's behind the makeup.
Okay.
Their emotions are hidden. So if what they're supposed to be doing is they're supposed to be bringing a sense of joy and euphoria, but beneath it all, a lot of them are depressed. A lot of them are like sociopathic, where they don't feel what you feel, but they're emulating how you're supposed to feel, and so they're emulating a sense of happiness that's inauthentic, and so
Right.
you don't know what's actually in the person's heart underneath the mask.
So, okay, so an eerie and unsettling thing about like the makeup of clowns is that they portray something not human. They hide like the signals that we normally rely on to tell people's intention. Like if I look at Angel, I can tell that he wants to have sex with me because those eyes are dilated and like his eyebrows are like raised up, and there's like this heightened sense of like tension. But if he's wearing a clown makeup, which he usually does, I know that I can run away.
You know that I'm really ready. You know that I'm really ready.
And so basically, the makeup like exaggerates human features, and it gives you a sense of direct threat because you can't really pick up on those signals. So, dude, you see a guy with like white makeup, exaggerated smile, big red fucking nose, and you look at him, you're like, what is behind that? And then that comes in with what you were saying, Doyle. Like, there's all this underlying stuff about the person. Scary, man. I can't deal with it. I grew up afraid of them. I still am, not as much as I was before, but still afraid. That scared me, though. That story scares the poop out of me.
Tune in next time where we come in all dressed as clowns. Film at 11.
Kiss my butt.
George had a lot of good input on this episode. Wow, George, you don't say.
It was great to hear your voice.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you back. I'm just thinking the music, sorry.
That's cool.
Well, this was a good episode, I'm going to say. It was all over the place, but I liked it. I enjoyed
They're
it.
all good.
Not every single one. Some of them I'm not a fan of.
That's because you're a douche.
Doyle, break it down.
I'm back, losers. No, so we should have called this episode the Revenge of Doyle, because I hate you all. Where's my $12? I want my $12.
This episode is called Killer Doyle from Outer Space, and you're going to love it.
Go to our Discord. I'm back.
By the way, you got some work to do because I've gotten some complaints. They still can't find that fucking thing.
It's Ouchcast.
They've been looking for. I've got the screen caps to prove it, boo.
Listen,
So hidden
Are
emotional
these
signals like
people-
clowns, hidden
are these people
signals all around.
familiar with
Hidden
Discord?
Discords. Huh?
Are
Yes.
these people familiar
Yes.
with Discord?
And they can't find it.
As simple as it is, Ouchcast. I specifically changed the name. There's nothing else.
I'm gonna look for it today.
Yeah, well,
and I'm not gonna find it.
You're on it. What do you mean?
I'm still not gonna find it.
If you can't find us, blame Discord. They're hiding us.
Enrique,
Shadow banned. We're shadow. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of in the same way that you know how Angel controls like the board, and if we listen to long clips, it's because Angel deems it so. I think someone at Discord is deeming it so that we cannot be seen. So.
They actually listen to the show then. They know better. They said we have to put a stop to this.
I'm excited for some coming up news that we won't release here, but we're gonna have some cool stuff coming up. I'm excited to talk about demons and the occult with you guys, especially Doyle, because I think that you have some explaining to do about angels, Christian people. You need to tell me why are you trying to like gaslight me that they're like these beautiful beings with like white coats and blonde hair.
Who said that?
Foreshadowing.
Oh,
And
they
then
all did.
I'm gonna just add this. If you want to talk to us, info@ouchcast.com or call us at area code 925-421-OUCH. That number again is area code 925-421-6824. You have anything to add?
Call the number. Just leave a message. Don't be afraid. I'm looking at you, Sue-Ann. Every week she says, I'm going to send you a message.
God damn it, Sue-Ann.
Send us a
Sue-Ann.
message. Tell us
Call me.
something.
Message.
A message. We just want to hear your voices. Send message. Let us know how you feel. Give us advice. Tell us that we suck. Or give us, feedback.
Or you could just look at us and say, never make eye contact while eating a blah, 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 blah. Yeah, do that. Good night, everybody.